Good morning, everybody. You're welcome to today's New York forecast brought to you by Trading Pro Nigeria. So without taking so much of your time, let's get down to what we have for today. We're going to start off with the economic calendar. And just like I said yesterday night, the Aussie news, I think it came out positive. That was why for those who trade the Aussie dollar, there was a massive rally on it. For those who trade it, there was a massive rally on it. So the next news we have is by 3 p.m., which is a high impact news for the US dollar. That's new home sales. And after that, there will be no other news for today. So let's get down to the pairs we have for today. So as always, we're going to start off with the Euro Pound, that's the Euro GBP, the US 100, the dollar index, the Euro USD, the GBP USD, gold, pound yen, and Euro yen. So like always, you need to, I don't trade the Euro Pound. I don't trade the Euro Pound, but the Euro Pound is important as it gives you a strength and weakness analysis of the pound against the euro or the euro against the pound, which can be helpful against other pairs because when you're trading, buying strength and selling weakness. So if you have a weak euro against the British pound, that means that you'll be looking to sell the euro against other pairs. If you have a bullish euro pound, you'll be looking to sell the pound against other stronger pairs. So if we look at this, the possibility exists that going into New Year session, we might see a bit of a retracement on this pair, probably towards this fair value gap. Let me go to the 4-hour. This is the 2-hour I'm looking at. Into this 4-hour fair value gap. As you can see, there's a rejection here. So what that means is that we might see pound weakness going into New York session. This pair is still bearish, but we might see intraday strength on the euro against the pound. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the US 100. Looking at the US 100, this pair, if we look at it on the weekly, it has spiked into the weekly fair value gap. That's the upper quadrant of this fair value gap, the 25% of it. And if you look at this on the daily, that's the top of the daily. So we have, this is what you call a bullish piercing pattern. So most likely, this pair might be going in for this fair value gap intraday. So if we go to if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, although where price is, this is a bearish structure point. You don't want to be taking a short position here. So a long position here. So you'll be waiting for a retracement. If it retraces down into this 4-hour fair value gap, or if we move down, there are lots of fair value gap here that have not been mitigated. So we might just see a bit of a retracement and then for price movement into this daily fair value gap, that is between 19,817 to 19,916. So for this pair going into New Year session, you'll be looking to buy dips as this pair might most likely take out 19,817.4. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the dollar index. So looking at the dollar index, this pair is still bullish. This pair is still bullish. We've had a spike above the previous day's high and a rejection. Price has dipped into the rejection block on the daily. This is the previous day's high on the daily, and this is the rejection block. That's where price is rejecting from. So if we move into the 4-hour time frame, you'll be waiting. There's a fair value gap here, but we'll be watching this last down candle. The possibility is that price may dip into here, and then we might see a continuation to the upside as this pair is still bullish. You need to be aware of that. This pair is still bullish. It may be going in for 105.91. So going into New York, retracement downside and a continuation to the upside. So the next pair we're going to be looking at is the Euro USD. The Euro USD, this pair is still bearish. This pair is still bearish. You might see a steep retracement. You might see a steep retracement. It has spiked previous day's low. So we have this rejection on the 4-hour. So if you go into the 1-hour time frame, where will price most likely be gunning for? Although we don't have a close below this low, so that's important to note. So what that means is that this retracement might be very deep. So if I am to look at this and take a short opportunity, let me remove all this. I'll be watching this low. I'll be watching this low to this high. That is 107.06 to 107.18. So you'll be waiting for price to come in here. If it offers bearish evidence, then it may move down. But bear in mind that due to the failure of this high to close below this low, the possibility exists that this high might be spiking. Price may spike this high. So we need to be aware of that. So the next one we're going to be looking at is the GBPUSD. So looking at the GBPUSD, this pair is bearish now. Like I pointed out, we might see euro pound strength. So if that is going to play out, this we might see a bit of a retracement. But where price is now, you don't want to take a short position here. Why? Because this was like a range candle, 1, 2, 3, 3 before they broke above the high, and price is now back at the low of that candle. So this may give a little bounce. So if we go down to the 1 hour, we have this change in the state of delivery here. Watch this other block here. That's why I say you don't want to be taking a short position here. So the possibility is that this may retrace to continue back to the downside. So that's what you'll be waiting for on the British pound. The bias on this pair is bearish. The next pair we're going to be looking at is gold. The bias on this pair is still bearish, but if we look at this on the 4-hour time frame, just like I pointed out, we now have a close below this low on the 4-hour. I was expecting price to retrace a bit into here, but it didn't. So we now have a bearish body close below this 4-hour. So we might see a bit of a retracement. And if that retracement is to happen, where will price be gunning in for? You'll be looking for this low to this high, because that's just the basic range that price may be gunning for. And then you have all these highs here at 23, 23, 23, 28. So the possibility is that any of these highs might be spiked, but this pair remains bearish as long as it stays below 23.37. So we'll be watching these equal lows for a draw on liquidity. So going into New York, we might see a retracement to the upside and a continuation back to the downside. The next one we're going to be looking at is pound yen. So looking at pound yen, just like I've been saying since Sunday, this is the draw and price has hit it. As you can see, price has hit it and there's a rejection. It's not reversed. There's no reversal yet. What it means is that you might see a bit of a weakness going into New York session. It's under probability. You might see a bit of a weakness and possible continuation on this pair. So if you get a close below 202.46, that is this low here, you wait for something like this, and you move lower. But bear in mind, this is a major low. That's 201.14. As long as price stays above it, it's still bullish. So what you're doing is you're taking a scalp against the prevailing trend. So the last but not the least is the euro yen. This pair is still bullish. I believe it's going for this high here, 171.60. So you can see the down move is going to offer an opportunity, as you can see. So we can see that price has already dipped into this area and it's continuing to the upside. So that settles it. So pound short term, we might see weakness. Euro, yen, we might see short term bullish move first to 17134, then 17145 and 17160. Any questions? Any questions or anybody want me to look at before we call it, before I end the session? You can now unmute yourselves and ask your questions directly. So in the absence of any questions, thank everybody for taking your time to attend. I wish everybody a blessed and wonderful day ahead and a lovely New York session. Thank you all for attending.